Hello my friends and welcome to Baldur's Gate 3 boss fight highlights for Honor Mode. As you can see, we're going to be fighting the Owlbear today. So this is part of my Honor Mode playthrough. I want to show you highlights of the Honor Mode boss fights. I have not looked up what the legendary actions are, so let's take a look at the Owlbear because it should be listed on her character sheet and see what she actually does. I'll talk a little bit about the builds and stuff before we engage in combat, but let's look at the enemy first. So right away we can see she has 107 hit points, and her legendary action is Call Consort, where I guess she can just summon a second Owlbear. Alright, so good to know. The Owlbear can also make a multi-attack while under the effects of Rage, which I believe she enters when she hits half health, so we need to be very careful about that as well. She also has the Distressed condition, can't get a critical hit, which is very useful because we're taking this fight at level 3. To quickly walk you through the builds before we start the fight, we've got my level 3 Dark Urge Warlock, Shadowheart as a Light Domain Cleric, Lae'zel as a Battlemaster Fighter, and Astarion as an Assassin Rogue. For full build guides on these, you can go to, or for the full builds of these, you can go to my Fixing the Companions video, where we talk about the builds for this Honor Mode playthrough. Notable items, we really don't have any at this point. I wanted to take this fight very early just to see if we could do it. Some important items for, I guess, my main character currently has a single potion of speed available, which could be very useful for decent sustained damage from the Warlock. We've got nothing on Shadowheart, just the magic spear, but it's basically just a crappy weapon. But she does have a shield and scale mail. Lae'zel in her standard half plate plus the Everburn blade. That's the boss the weapon we got from the tutorial boss, and Astarion with no relevant magical effects at all, but he does have some arrows of acid. I guess before we start, we're also going to poison Astarion's weapons to make sure that he can try to land poison, because that will be a very useful effect. Other than that, though, there's no prep that I'm going to do. Shadowheart could cast Bless to concentrate on Bless, but for this battle, given that the enemy has fairly low AC, so I think we're gonna 13 AC, we're gonna hit with reasonable frequency. I'm gonna have her concentrate on Flaming Sphere instead of Bless, because that will potentially distract these enemies. No concentration spells or anything else that I want to activate on my other characters. I would like to keep both Warlock spell slots available. One is going to be Hex, and the other one is going to be... I guess we could cast Armor of Agathys before combat, because I don't know if we're going to use Darkness for this combat. But I think there's a decent chance we use Darkness, so I'm not going to do that yet. Alright, let's just get right into the fight. So we're going to start it by entering turn-based mode, and I'm going to have Astarion make the attack. I'm going to wait for the Owlbear to come down this direction, actually, before we do that. So the Owlbear is going to move around. She will eventually walk over to this area, and then we're just going to attack here from the low ground. I could try to sneak Astarion up onto the high ground, but she does eventually look at that area, so it's a little risky. Alright. Waiting for her patrol path is getting boring, so I'm not going to do that, actually. Let's just make our attacks. First up, Poison. This requires Astarion's bonus action, so if we need the bonus action for something else, I might... Yeah, we're going to wait one turn. Just to make sure we have all our resources before going into this combat. Environmental turn, the Owlbears move a little bit, and then we'll begin the combat with Astarion, who as an Assassin Rogue should always be starting our combats. We want to move up to the point where we are no longer in the target outside normal range penalty. There we go. The fact that the Owlbear cub gets to keep moving the entire time that we are doing the rest of this stuff is very annoying. So that could be a little dangerous for us in terms of lines of sight. And let's begin this battle. We're going to start off with a sneak attack, a ranged sneak attack. I also have 3 arrows. The Arrow of Ilmater, Arrow of Many Targets, which could be useful later on, and Arrow of Acid. So actually, let's use the Arrow of Acid, and then we can apply the sneak attack on that using our reaction. Yes, we do sneak attack. Thanks. Alright, and so the Owlbear has summoned the Owlbear mate, who is up here, but also has the surprised effect. So because they are surprised, both enemies are surprised, we now have the assassinate effect available for Astarion. So let's do that with a piercing shot as well to try to add gaping wounds. So you can see we've got poison. Unfortunately, they did pass their save against the poison, it looks like. Let me just make sure that that's the case. Yeah, succeeded against poison, so the poison will not be a factor this game, but that's alright. We'll take a piercing shot as well. Critical hit, that's nice. Unfortunately, the game ate my sneak attack, or I used sneak attack on my first. I should have actually waited to use the sneak attack until I had fired both shots to make sure that if one of them critical hit, I could have applied a critical sneak attack. So I basically gave up 2d6 damage there. I could use a bonus action here. The Owlbear, do we get to see its movement speed? We don't, and we know it has a jump. So I'm not going to worry too much about that, but I will bring the rest of my party into this combat. So we're going to have our warlock move up, trying to maintain a decent distance, and we'll throw a hex on the Owlbear. We will hex it for disadvantage on wisdom checks, which doesn't include saving throws, but just doing it that way. And of course it is surprised, and I'm just going to fire off an Eldritch Blast. 75% chance of hitting for some additional damage. Try to take this guy out in one round if we can. Now Lae'zel, can Lae'zel make it to the enemy in one turn? If so, that would be good, because we could get her attacking. But I don't believe she has the movement speed, so let's move her up until... because she'll eventually be revealed when she enters an area here. We can sneak her forwards, and then she'll enter combat from within movement range of the enemy if we do it this way. So now we have her run up and attack, but we're going to go for a trip attack. And so first I'm going to activate Precision Attack, and then spend a superiority die on a melee trip attempt against the Owlbear. Owlbear is likely to make this save. Alright, fell prone, that's great. Now we have advantage against it, and we could also use a Pummel Strike for our bonus action to deal some additional damage and daze them, but I'm actually going to wait. I'm going to save that for when the Owlbear mate acts. We'll Action Surge here, and then just make a normal main hand attack with advantage because the enemy is prone. I could also go for a Lacerate. Again, though, I don't think we need that. We're just going to, since the enemies are surprised this round, we're going to wait and have the Owlbear mate, and have the Owlbear mate take those resources. We're going to also sneak forward with Shadowheart, getting her in front of where Astarion is, and then Shadowheart is going to contribute to this fight by placing down summons. Do I want to wait to place the summons until the Owlbear mate drops from above? If so, that would mean that I would want to not spend spell slots on this, and instead just like fire an attack, maybe a cantrip. We've started off this fight very well, so I could have the Owlbear. Like, we're going to kill the Owlbear before the mate acts at all, I think. So I think what we're going to do is not spend Shadowheart's resources this round. Just ping for a little bit of damage, and that's fine. So I could have summoned Flaming Sphere and Spiritual Weapon for this, but since we don't need those, we're just going to finish off this damage next round, and then we're going to spread our characters out, have Astarion bonus action hide. and just move a little ways away from where he was before, just to make sure that enemies go somewhere else to see him. Have my main character move to the right here. She is now in the most danger of being targeted by the Owlbear mate, but we can fix that next round. And then nobody else needs to move or take actions at this time. Let's end our turns. Owlbear had surprise, so all enemies have used their surprise actions. Now I could make a sneak attack against the Owlbear mate here, except that it's on high ground, so I need to wait for this guy to come down to low ground before we do anything like that. So let's have Astarion fire an attack here. Have to move a little bit forward. And then we make this advantage attack. Why did that automatically use my sneak attack? Alright, for some reason it automatically used sneak attack. Maybe I accidentally selected sneak attack instead of normal attack. Yeah, it looks like I did. Oops. So I meant to use a normal attack and then trigger sneak attack manually, but it worked out the same. We can make a main hand attack here. At 75%, I could also choose to use precision attack to guarantee the hit. I could also, because we have this hex, we do 15 damage. We need 14 damage. We do, on average, 5.5 plus 3 plus 3.5. So that is 11 damage. We're just shy of being able to very likely kill the Owlbear with our Eldritch Blast, but I think it's still worth taking this shot. Alright, so then we're going to have Lae'zel go. And rather than give the Owlbear a turn, I'm going to use Precision Attack. This leaves us with only one superiority die left, but I think is worth it for safety here, because it makes this hit almost guaranteed. Then we kill the Owlbear. Then I'm going to have Lae'zel back up to get away from the cub. Make sure the cub can't get in range to attack us. And also to stand in front of my allies here. Shadowheart still has an action and could fire at the enemy, at the Owlbear mate here. I guess we're going to do that. Disadvantage, Firebolt, or just a cantrip again. Target's too far. We would have to move forwards a little bit. That's fine. Move her forwards just a bit. Target's out of sight. Where can I draw a line of sight to him from? Alright, Owlbear mate is out of sight, so it looks like we're wasting Shadowheart's action. I'm going to have her jump this way to get onto the high ground, and I want to spread my characters out because the Owlbears have various AoE effects. Can we now do this? No, and we're not going to shoot the cub because we want to keep it alive. Alright, so Shadowheart's turn kind of wasted. We'll just have her Blade Ward. Might as well. Astarion going to Cunning Action Hide again, and again move to somewhere where he is just a little ways away from where the enemies might be looking for him. End turn, my main character, can we reapply the Hex now as a bonus action? We can't yet, so we'll just pass turn, and Lae'zel's going to stay here. Owlbear Cub's going to run forward, but won't be able to get in range to attack, and Owlbear Mate is going to jump, but actually missed my two guys. Did deal 15 damage to my main character, which is a lot of damage, so that is unfortunate. But we can now start covering it in summons if I want. I can also have Lae'zel go for a melee trip against it, or we can just use a precision attack to guarantee a hit. We also have a piercing shot available from Shadowheart if I want that, which could help us DPS it down. Always going to do spiritual weapon, so let's start with that, and we'll do the Great Axe. And then I think to maintain low incoming damage. Another thing I could do is hit Radiance of the Dawn, which is pretty good AoE damage here. Doesn't currently hit the cub, which is good. To maintain low incoming damage, I could spend a summon. I could also throw out a Guiding Bolt to try to get advantage for Lae'zel's trip. Let's do that. We missed, unfortunately, so that was a waste. I'm going to go for the trip anyways. 65% isn't amazing, but it's worth taking this try. They save, but that's alright. Astarion is going to make the sneak attack as well. And do I want to shoot an Arrow of Ilmater for extra damage? Don't think we need to. I could also do an offhand attack, and then a main hand dagger attack, which would be about the same damage. We could do a piercing strike, because we do have 2 short swords equipped. So I could go in for a piercing strike to trigger gaping wounds. Let's actually do that. It's okay, I think, to cluster a little bit here. Is there a way I can have Astarion move? No. Alright. So we can't easily get advantage with Astarion. We missed that, and then I'll go for this offhand attack. Take some extra damage here, but we do get to at least apply sneak attack.
Another fight. Let's go.
Let's reapply Hex with our bonus action. And then I could Vicious Mockery to give it disadvantage. I could also Darkness on myself and it, which would blind it. It's currently prevented from moving, but the issue is that the Owlbear has the jump effect, so it would be able to just jump out. I could also just go for an Armor of Agathys, or we could just disengage with my main character using the actual disengage action. I think provoking an attack of opportunity is too dangerous, so my main character is just going to disengage here.
Very well.
And we have this thing clustered currently, so you are done your turn. Astarion is staying in melee contact for 1 turn, that's fine. Lae'zel, of course, is staying in melee contact, so we'll have her also do the pummel strike. Oh, that was a mistake, actually. I should have dazed, and then I wouldn't have had to disengage. Definitely a mistake there, so, you know, you can always just, you can make mistakes and it's okay. Let's hang on, let's cancel end turn on Shadowheart and move her further away from the Owlbear cub. So definitely a mistake. I forgot I had the offhand daze. Enemies moving out of our reach, so we'll make the opportunity attack with Lae'zel. Get a hit. Crushing Flight does down my main character, so that is dangerous. You can see that I could have potentially blinded or something, but my main character is not in a ton of danger because we'll just use a healing word here with a bonus action. And then, what do I want to do here? I'd like to preserve some spell slots, but I may throw in 1 command. We will do command grovel. Which succeeded, so now it's not going to get another turn.
Time to strike. Make way.
Lae'zel can run up to here and make an attack. Wow. Is that actual minimum damage? Oh no, it's got damage resistant because it's in rage. Right. It has rage and multi-attack, so that's why it's very important to have thrown out the command grovel there. And then I'm again going to do let's off balance again, disadvantage on strength and dex checks, and attacks have advantage. So yeah, let's do a weapon flourish with a bonus action to start. I will not sneak attack on this attack because we still have our main hand attack we can sneak attack with. Kind of minimum damage, but that's okay.
Time to push my luck again.
And then I could reuse Hex. I could also use a potion of speed here to gain an action and be able to fire off an Eldritch Blast, which will go through the damage. I think we can conserve our speed potion, though. So let's spend another a short rest spell here to Hex, and then we will back up with our main character.
Coming for you.
Victory awaits.
And then pass a turn. Making sure to swap back to our melee weapon. Owlbear Cub is going to run forward. Oh, I should have moved Shadowheart. I figured the Owlbear Cub would be able to get into melee with something, but I'd rather have it in melee with one of these two. And then we'll do a Lacerate, which is force damage, so it goes through the rage. That guy skipped his turn because of the command. Still enraged, though, so let's start with the Eldritch Blast to see if we get the bonus damage. Just making sure we have no other short rest abilities that we want to use here. Nothing in particular, so yeah, we'll start with Eldritch Blast. Got a miss there. Kind of regretting not using Bless, actually. This, again, was not the cleanest fight that we could have had. I'm going to take an attack of opportunity from the Cub. I don't really care about that. Although, the way that we're positioned, we would also end up taking an attack of opportunity from the big Owlbear. If I move any further than this. That's fine, though. So we'll head out to here, and then I could just go in for a melee attack against it. I could also place down a summon. I'd like to conserve a spell, at least one level 2 spell, but I think it's probably worth it to hit it with a grovel again. 50% chance only. Worth a try, I think. Alright, so with that spell going off, we've basically guaranteed the win. This wasn't the cleanest fight in the world, but I think we're okay. Why did it use my second attack? I have dual wielding turned off. It should not have used Astarion's bonus action attack there, unless I used it for something else and forgot. And we'll pass a turn. And we'll pass this turn. Got that miss, that's fine.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
At this point, we're pretty much just in the state of just try to DPS it down, so we'll just fire here. There we go. Having landed that attack, that's really good. Lae'zel can make her attack. And Astarion has a main hand attack. Yeah. It keeps eating my offhand attack.
Talk to me.
Shadowheart. We just need to do a couple points of damage. Let's try Sacred Flame. And it dies.
Looks from you to his dead mother.
I don't have Speak with Animals, so we have to endure the really...
will end his suffering.
the sad cutscene here, but we will let the creature live.
It hurts. You watch speechless.
And there you go. That's the Owlbear fight. Not the cleanest fight in the world, to be honest. I feel like I could have fought that one a little bit better. Mostly I wasted a turn disengaging because I forgot that Lae'zel had the daze from Pummel Strike. So using Pummel Strike to daze the enemy, allowing my main character to move out of melee contact without provoking, would have been a cleaner way. But given that we did this using few resources, no potions or anything, and at level 3 without the help of the Absolutists, it was still a pretty clean fight. And we made it through. Now my party needs to short rest, and I'll bring you more boss fights later. So let me know if you enjoyed this look at a boss fight in Baldur's Gate. I am very interested if people actually like this kind of thing. And if you did enjoy it, do definitely let me know. If you didn't enjoy it, also let me know. And as always, my friends, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. And, you can like it, leave a comment. Both of those things help a ton with the algorithm. And you can subscribe to my channel for more of this and other strategy game content. More Honor Mode playthrough coming up. I will be doing a mix of these highlight videos and live streams as we go, just to... I don't find that posting big chunks of unedited gameplay footage on YouTube works very well, so I don't want to post the entire playthrough just unedited, but I'll bring you highlights and I'll live stream occasionally when the mood strikes. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.